Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we're going to work on a wrist corsage. Now this one's going to be a little different than you've seen me make before. I had one of our followers ask for a long wrist corsage, kind of like a picture that she has seen, and I'll show that to you. She would like for me to duplicate this corsage. Now, I do not have orchids, so I am going to show the technique using some Lisianthus blooms. And the blooms, we're just going to use some pretty purple Lisianthus. We're going to use some wire. This is 26 gauge wire. I've got some corsage tape, a wristlet to add to our corsage so that it'll go on your wrist. This is Oasis floral adhesive. And then we've got some pretty ribbon that we're gonna add. So I want you to watch as we put this together. All right, so we are gonna get started with wiring and taping our flowers. So I'm gonna move everything to the side. Again, this is 26 gauge wire, so it's a very lightweight wire. And that's the wire I prefer when making a corsage or boutonniere. I'm gonna take my snips and I am going to cut one of the blooms of the Lisianthus off, and I am going to take a piece of florist wire. It's kind of hard for you to see, but it's a really narrow wire. I'm going to run it right through kind of the calyx of that flower. Just push that right through. And I'm not sure if you would call this a calyx with Lisianthus, but it's just, I pressed it right through that stem, and I am going to pull that down, the wire down toward the stem itself. And I am going to take some corsage tape. Now, corsage tape is a paper tape that's been infused with a little bit of wax so that it sticks to itself. I'm going to take it and I'm going to pinch it right around the top of that flower and then twist and pull down. Twist, pull, twist, pull. And I'm going all the way down that wire, just like that. Okay, so there's one flower. I'm gonna do several flowers for this corsage. Now the picture shows artificial foliage, and not everybody has artificial foliage, so I wanted to show you how to use a little bit of salal as the foliage instead of an artificial stem of greenery. So I'm going to take and I'm going to cut these individual little leaves off and show you how to wire them. So I'm going to take these and move to the side. Okay, so you can see this center vein right here. There's a center vein in the back. So you're going to flip it over. There's the front of the leaf, and here's the back. I'm going to take a piece of this wire, and I'm going to go underneath, pierce that leaf, and it's like you're sewing. You're going to make a stitch, and you're going to go underneath that vein there, and you'll see how that stitch looks on the front side. I'm going to take it and I'm going to lay that wire, I'm going to pull it down, and you see how I'm catching this small, it's the small stem of that leaf, and I'm trying to wrap that wire right around just like that. Okay, I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to tape it just like I did my flowers. I'm going to catch it and kind of pinch right around that little bitty stem and then twist and pull. So there is a wired leaf, and you can see the wire, how it comes down. Now you can do any type of leaf this way. Now if this leaf is too large, let's show you a trick on how to make it a little smaller. So I'm actually going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim up that leaf. And I just kind of ran down that center vein. See that center vein there? And I just made a little longer stem. Just like that. Okay? Take your wire, catch it, and you're just making a stitch. Just make a little stitch. Bend that wire down and wrap it right around that stem. Just like that. Take your tape. But see, it's very easy to trim up those leaves to make them a little smaller. Very easy. So I've got several leaves and I have my flowers. Let's tie a bow really quickly so that when we get everything set up, our bow is ready. So this is a sheer ribbon. It's actually an iridescent. You can kind of see how it picks up the color. I'm just gonna make a loopy bow. So I'm taking that ribbon and I'm catching the front and the back, just like that. Made a loop. I'm gonna twist, make a loop. Now you can do these as large. Honestly, if you don't like bows in your corsage, you don't have to put a bow. But I do think bows make things pretty, so I'm adding a bow, but you don't have to. I'm just twisting that ribbon. Now with this ribbon, it's pretty on the front and the back, so if you don't want to twist, you don't have to. I just happen to be a twister. So I'm gonna twist. All right, there's my bow. I'm going to take the same wire I've been working with. I'm laying it right up underneath my thumb. And I tied that loopy bow. Now bow tying is it just takes practice. But there's a loopy bow for our finish. Okay, so here we go. This is how you're going to wire and tape, and I will show you in a minute how to place it on our little wristlet, but let's show you how to wire and tape. I usually start out with my largest bloom. So for this one, it's a layered technique, so they want it to be kind of long going up that arm. And so you take your largest bloom and then the next largest, and you're just going to layer it. I'm just laying them together, just one and then two. And actually, let's start out by taping, because what's going to happen is they're going to get too long. So I'm going to take the first two blooms and I laid them together. They're just laid on top of each other, and I'm going to tape it. Okay? Just like that. And then I'm going to take my next bloom, and because we're going to make this a long corsage and it's going to go up that arm, I am just steady layering it. So I took the next bloom here and I'm going to tape it. And then the next bloom. Just like that. And honestly, I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use this one. I'm not going to use this bloom at all. So I've laid that one on just like that. I'm going to tape it, and I usually just pinch that tape and then I twist it and pull. Okay, and then here comes our bud. So I'm going to take one bud here and then another bud, and I'm just kind of laying them in. See how they're laid on the back? I'm going to just take and tape those. And see how that's going to lay just like that on her arm. And then I'm going to take these little buds and I'm just going to nestle them in. You can see how I'm just laying it right in, and it's just laid on the back just like that. Take another one and lay it in. And you can add as many buds as you would like, just like that. See how they're laid in? Take your tape. All right, so this is what it's going to look like once it lays on her arm. See how it's kind of longer and elongated? You're going to make them all the same. You can make them, you know, whatever shape you'd prefer. Next, we're going to come in with our leaves, and I'm going to take the first one, which is the largest leaf. Now, the nice part about the wire is you can manipulate them pretty easy. So I took that leaf and just kind of laid it on there. Take my tape. I'm going to tape it just like I did before. So it's just a layering. Lay it down, tape it, lay it down, and tape it. My second leaf, I'm going to take it and just kind of lay it to the side there. And you're just going to kind of manipulate until you're happy. It's just laid right there on it. So it's very, very simple. Just a layering technique. Now, if you have artificial leaves that you'd like to use, that is perfect. They're going to lay on there just exactly the same way. You can't mess it up. They're going to lay in just exactly the same way. I'm gonna run out of tape. All right, I don't think we need any more leaves at this point, so I'm gonna just slide these leaves over. We can always use these for another project, so kind of slide those over. Okay, so there is our corsage so far. Okay, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our bow, and of course this is completely optional. You don't have to put ribbon on this at all if you don't want to. So I'm just taking that bow, and you see the wire here. I'm just twisting it tightly. Right around that stem. Just like that. Take that wire, lay it on that stem, and I'm going to tape it again. Now the thing about this taping is nothing's going to fall apart because you have taped the goodness me out of it, okay? You have taped it and taped it and taped it. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so what she's going to do is it's just going to lay on her arm just like this. And again, this long elongated corsage can be done with any type of flowers. It just needs to be just situated the same way. You know, you just put them in place the same way. Okay, so there's that. Now, let me show you how you're going to put a wired and taped corsage onto a wristlet. So here's how I do it. I'm going to take a heavier gauge wire, if I can find one in my drawer here. Let's see. This is a 21 gauge wire. It's a heavier wire. Okay, I'm going to fold it in a U, just like that. That's how I fold it. Okay, I'm going to take it and I am going to lay it right on top of my wristlet, just like this. Okay, and I am going to see these tabs. I'm going to take those metal tabs and I'm going to fold them over on both ends. That's the top, and then here's the bottom. Just fold them over so they're holding that wire in place. Okay, next I'm going to take my tape again and I am going to tape that end tab, and I'm leaving my wire long down here. Okay, see that? Tape that really good, and then I'm going to tape it down here also. And you just twist, and then you twist and pull. And I'm taping that stem down at the bottom. Okay? Now you can add your corsage glue here if you want to. You can use your floral adhesive and add it here if you would like. I don't usually do that, but you can absolutely do that, and you can know that it's not going anywhere. But let me show you how I like to put it together. That's where your corsage glue comes in. Now, you can always add extras with your corsage glue. So if you wanted to take and add some filler flowers and different things into this corsage, that's where your corsage glue is going to come in. Now, let me show you how I like to attach a wristlet. So here's the back side of the corsage. Again, you can add glue and lay that right up there on the top if you want to. But see, I'm taking that wristlet, this is the back side, and I'm laying that stem right onto the stem that I have layered. Lay that right on there, and actually it's probably very smart. It's very smart to add the glue. Let's do that real quick. Just add just a dab of glue. And I added more than a dab because it came out very fast. And I am going to lay that corsage right onto that wristlet. Right there, okay? Just right on there. I'm going to take my tape. Again, if you don't have that corsage glue, it's not a big deal. You don't have to have it. That's not completely necessary for this type of corsage. I'm going to take my tape and I am going to tape all the way up on that tab. Now everything that you've attached so far is all wired and taped, so it can all move. So I'm coming around and I'm trying to get as far up on that tab as I can with my tape, because that just stabilizes it. And I'm taping all the way around, and you just constantly twist that corsage. Now see, I kind of taped it up there on that tab so that it was stable. And then I can pull my ribbon and adjust my ribbon. If any of these flowers need to be adjusted, very carefully take them and just adjust them. They're all on wire, so they all will very easily adjust. Okay, so there's the back. There's our wristlet. Now we have this really long stem here. You're just going to take your snips, and you can use wire snips, you can use whatever. You're just going to trim that. And then you're going to take your little wristlet, and it's elastic, and it's just going to slide right down on her little arm. And there is your finished corsage. And again, all of these are wired and taped, so they will all adjust as you need them to. But that's the long wired wrist corsage. So I realize that seems like a whole lot of steps, but once you get the hang of it, it really isn't hard at all. It really is much easier than you think. But it does take practice. But again, this same technique can be used with different types of flowers to give you this elongated effect. Guys, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to our channel, we'd love for you to do that. Hit subscribe down below, and if you hit that little bell, it'll give you notifications for when we have a new video. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you real soon.